Hi, I'm Matty Follen, Brand Ambassador here at Starward Whisky. I'm about to take you into the heart of our distiller's playground. I'll be joined by Sam Slaney, Production Director here at Starward Whisky. Sam was the very first employee that Starward founder David Fatale brought on board when the distillery opened its doors in 2009 and is proudly coined as employee number one. Come on, let's go check it out. You really hit with the sweet, malty aroma when you first walk in, as well as the humming of the machinery. It really is an urban working distillery. Tell us how it all got started.
Yeah, so we started in 2007, founded by Dave Fatale. He had a vision to create a distinctly Australian whiskey that we could take to the world. We started making spirit in 2010 out in Essendon Fields, Essendon Airport, in an old maintenance hangar.
Starward have become so well known for making distinctly Australian whiskey. What makes it so unique?
We use a lot of Australian red wine barrels. We source a lot from the Yarra Valley and the Barossa. We use locally malted barley. We've got a really great team of brewers and distillers that bring in different viewpoints and help us craft our delicious whiskey.
Sam, should we go and take a look?
Let's go see where the magic happens.
Sam, this is a pretty awesome setup. What are we looking at here?
So this is the heart of the distillery, Matty. This is where we make all of our new make spirit. So we start with malted barley, that's our main material, and we crush it, and then we basically mash it, which is what's happening right here. So we mix it with hot water, that's like a big porridge, and that releases the starch and turns it into sugar, and that sugar is what we use to ferment the alcohol. It'll flow from the mash tun into the fermenters along the back. We put the yeast in, 3-day fermentation, pretty short and sharp, and then we want to distill it. So we'll throw it into the wash still, which is the big boy at the back. Takes about 6 hours to distill, and then we'll do it again in the spirit still. So that's this guy here, 6-hour distillation. This is where we get the fours and feints, and this is where the distiller really takes a lot of care and makes sure that everything's working correctly so we get the right spirit out the other end. So Matty, this is the bond store where we store most of our barrels for maturity, and we check them for sensory and make sure they're all doing good.
Roughly, how long does it take for our whiskey to mature here in Melbourne?
Yeah, so we work on 3 Melbourne years, we call it. You know, compared to somewhere more traditional, it's a lot more dynamic environment, and we embrace that.
So what do you reckon, Sam? Should we go and taste the barrel?
We've got an American oak barrel, 4 years old, and one of our favourites.
Sam, on the nose, I get heaps of the fresh red wine characteristics coming through. Red berries, tropical fruits, and on the palate, you get the oak coming through and really expressing itself. Sam, what's your favourite whiskey? What's your go-to whiskey?
So my favourite whiskey is Starward Nova. It's our flagship single malt, and I love the balance of malt, red fruit, oak and spice that you get with this. It's really a pleasure to make and a pleasure to drink.
Sam, thanks for taking us around. It's really great to see how we make Starward whiskey here in Port Melbourne, and the whiskey's pretty delicious. Cheers. Thanks for taking a tour of Starward Whisky down here in Port Melbourne. For more information, visit starward.com.